Hello, everybody, and hello to you, ma'am. I am Janelle Siwabe, and with my group, we're going to discuss to you the chapter 11 entitled Jose Rizal and Philippine Nationalism National Symbol. With my group, we're going to discuss to you every part of this chapter. So, let's go! So, as the first reporter of this group, we're going to discuss first why there are national symbols in every country. But first, what is national symbol? Well, symbols elicit thoughts are as they present things in a culture. Some things are conventionally associated with some meanings and thus become symbols, either officially or traditionally. So with this, every country has its own national symbols to distinguish itself from others and somehow unite its people. National symbols provoke some sense of nationalism. So here we can see here as Rizal as our national symbol, our icons of every youth. And well, according to the National Commission for Culture and the Arts of the Philippines, official national symbols represents the country's traditions and ideals and conveys the principles of the Philippine sovereignty and national solidarity. Now I'm going to present to you the official national symbols of the Philippines according to NCCA, which is the following. Here we can see here first the Philippine national flag. Well, the Philippine national flag is made of silk with white collateral triangle at the left containing a sunburst of 8 rays at the center, a 5-pointed star at each other angle of triangle, an upper stripe of blue and lower stripe of red. Second is the Lupang Hinirang, or our national anthem. And the third is Sampaguita as our national flower, which we can really barely see this at every churches where children are selling this one. And the fourth one is the Philippine eagle as our national bird, which is now they are at the verge of extinction. And the fifth one is the Philippine pearl as our national gem. And lastly, our NIS as our national sports, or our national as the Philippine national symbols of sports that we represent to other countries. And on the other hand, there are also lists of our country's unofficial but traditional national symbols. Namely, first is Anahaw as our national leaf, and second, Bahay Kubo, the national house, which we can really see this at every tribe members or any at faraway land, hinterlands, because they still adopt this kind of house in their house, which they use some nipa and wood materials. And third is mango as a national fruit. And fourth one is carabao or tamaraw as our national animal. And the fifth one is the bangus as our national fish. So it's either adobo or sinigang. Well, it is our national dish, Philippine dish that we serve to every guest or some tourists that visit in our country. Now let's listen to the discussion of our next reporter.
Although Dr. Jose Rizal is widely recognized as our national hero, he nonetheless belongs to the unofficial national symbols. That status, however, does not make him less of a fitting symbol of the Philippines. Jose Rizal's name and memory have long been representing and symbolizing our country. So, in the right image, we can see the 1961 Philippine brilliant uncirculated half peso silver coin commemorating the 100th birth anniversary of Jose Rizal. So, the day of Rizal's birth and the day of his execution are fittingly commemorated by all classes of our people throughout the length and the breadth of this country, and even by Filipinos and their friends abroad. His name is a byword in every Filipino home, while his picture adorns the postage stamp, which is the Filipino coin. And no other Filipino hero can surpass Rizal in the number of towns, barrios, and streets named after him. So, in the number of educational institutions, societies, and trade names that bear his name. So, we can say that Dr. Jose Rizal is very popular, not just in our country but also in the other country. He deserves to be in that 1 peso bill because he really helped our country to have freedom and to have knowledge in everything. Values highlighted by Rizal's life. So the following are some of the values highlighted by various representations of Rizal as a national symbol. So the first one is nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism involves the desire to attain freedom and political independence, especially by a country under foreign power. So Rizal's life, works, and writings, especially his novels, essentially, if not perfectly, radiate these values. So the second one is patriotism. Patriotism denotes proud devotion and loyalty to one's nation. So Rizal's vision and proposal on how the people of our country could be on the road to progress so that they could enjoy the fullness of nationhood, especially politically, culturally, and economically under the mantle of national solidarity, are none less than motivating and commendable. So the third one is faith in God. So when Rizal was studying in Madrid, Spain, Rizal through his letter assured his mother of his faith in God. So the fourth one is the love of fellow men. Rizal advocated thinking well of our fellow men. His life exemplified the principle that love of neighbor entails involvement in his or her behalf. So Rizal's thought on love of our fellow men is biblical and timeless. So the fifth one is the love of parents. Rizal's love for his parents is greatly and very admirable. He studied medicine and ophthalmology just to cure his mother's failing eyesight. So Jose no doubt also adored his father. And the sixth one is the devotion to truth. Rizal held that it was not good to hide the truth. Rizal's persevering search for truth in serving his country was motivating virtue. And the seventh one is purity and idealism. So Rizal was a person guided not only by practical considerations but also ideals. So, extraordinary also was his insistence on purity of thoughts. And the eighth one is noble thought and conduct. So Rizal's works and writings promoted good conduct, clean conscience, and upright thinking. And the ninth one is the charity. So Rizal seemed to feel happy when he could give joy to somebody. And all his sacrifices for his country were charitable acts for his fellow men.
And we have here the 10 values highlighted by the various representations of Rizal as a national symbol. So we have here the dedication to duty. Dedication to one's duty was another splendid virtue of Rizal. He virtually dedicated his whole life in securing freedom for his country and happiness for his people. A commitment historically unquailed in the history of this country. Next, we have the moral courage. Rizal's courage in working for the betterment of his country, despite all odds, is a virtue that is so essential even today. His moral courage to do the best for his people is worth imitating by our present leaders. The next one is the willpower. Willpower is the ability to control or restrain oneself. Although the Spanish colonizers instilled in Rizal's generation inferiority complex and the idea that locals were better governed by the Spaniards. Rizal worked on his opposite idea that his people could be great and deserved freedom. Next, we have here the integrity. Integrity refers to the quality of being honest and having a strong moral principles. In many aspects, Rizal is a model of moral uprightness and honesty. These virtues he held were the result of his constant love and search for the truth. The next one we have here the sincerity. Sincerity is essentially linked to humility as it makes us know the truth about ourselves, to accept the truth wherever it is, and live according to it. Rizal's sincerity is manifested in his acceptance that whatever he possessed, he owed them to God who had planned a duty he had to carry out. The next one we have self-denial. Rizal gave up his personal desires for a better cause, that is, working for the welfare of his country. His self-denial involved self-sacrifice and autism. The 16th we have here the perseverance. It refers to the steadfastness in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. So in serving his country, Rizal showed mental and moral strength in meeting and enduring pain, adversity, and peril. So the last one we have here, or the 17th, we have here the discipline and self-control. Discipline is the suppression of base desires and is typically understood to be synonymous with self-restraint and control. So in many instances, Rizal used reasons to determine the best course of action regardless of his desires. In fact, he deprived himself of many unsound pleasures.
These are the values of our national hero. First is initiative. Initiative is the ability to assess and initiate things independently. Next is prudence. Prudence is care, caution, and good judgment as well as wisdom and looking ahead. Next is chivalry, courtesy, and politeness. Chivalry is a combination of qualities expected of an ideal gentleman, especially courtesy and a readiness to help the weak or woman. Next is fragility. Rizal was careful about spending money and any other resources and in using things when he did not need to. Lastly is the love for justice. Justice refers to the fairness in the way people are dealt with.
During the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos, he tasked the National Heroes Commission to come up with the criteria for national hero. After many years, then President Fidel V. Ramos on March 28, 1993 issued Executive Order Number 75 creating the National Heroes Committee, NHC, under the office of the President to study and recommend the proclamation of national heroes. The commission came up with a new criteria comprising 10 points or standards. First, the extent of a person's sacrifices for the welfare of the country. Second, the motive and methods employed in the attainment of the ideal. Third, the moral character of the person concerned. Fourth, the influence of the person concerned on his age, generation, and or the succeeding ones. Fifth, heroes are those who have a concept of nation and thereafter aspire and struggle for the nation's freedom. Sixth, heroes are those who define and contribute to a system of life or of freedom and order for a nation. Seventh, heroes are those who contribute to the quality of life and destiny of a nation. Eighth, a hero is part of a people's expression. Nine, a hero thinks of the future, especially the future generations. And the last one, number 10, the choice of a hero involves not only the recounting of an episodes or events in history, but also the entire process that made this particular person a hero.
And as you can see in the presentation, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines resolved to recommend the following figures as national heroes after 2 years of debates and deliberations. First of all, we have our national hero Dr. Jose Rizal, followed by Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Aguinaldo, Apolinario Mambini, Marcelo H. del Pilar, Sultan Dipatuan Kudarat, Juan Luna, Melchora Aquino, and lastly is Gabriela Silang. In summary, no law or executive order or decree has been issued officially declaring any Filipino historical figure as a national hero, despite the fact that laws and proclamations have been issued recognizing certain names for their contributions to nation building and culture. Jose Rizal, despite being widely known as the greatest of Filipino heroes, was not declared. Nonetheless, he was given an implied recognition as national hero as his day of execution on December 30 has been made a national holiday. For everyone, Jose Rizal is recognized as a widely acclaimed Philippine national hero, partly as a result of the people's continued veneration or acclamation of his contribution to the country's major social transformation. So, whenever someone asks us who our national hero is, we always say Dr. Rizal. It is because we're honoring his contribution to major changes here in the Philippines, especially the freedom that we are having right now.